Hey, welcome to another episode of Your Faith and Health Community. I'm your host, Pastor Jackie Jackson, and as always, we want to thank you for taking out time of your day to spend with us. Truly, you could have been doing anything else, so we thank you for turning your station or turning your television to this station. I said last week I wasn't going to mention anything about healthcare, but I have to. After all, it is Your Faith and Health Community, right? So we know that the marketplace is over. If you have not enrolled through the marketplace, affectionately known as Obamacare, you're too late, which actually ended January 31st. But if you've recently gotten married, divorced, moved into the state of Ohio, had a baby, had 3 or 4 babies, started a new job, lost a job, or you're re-entering back into society from a penal institution, that does make you eligible. It's called a life-changing event, and so you can still enroll in health care. You want to reach out to the marketplace and find out where you fit in. If you are single and your income is $28,000 or less, that makes you eligible for Medicaid. Medicaid is year-round open enrollment. It never closes. So you can reach out to Job and Family Services to see if you're eligible to get enrolled. And it also kind of goes up the scale. A family of 4, if I remember the figures right, and it's been a while, but I think a family of 4, if your annual income is $45,000 a year, that makes your family eligible for Medicaid. So it's something to think about. Everyone should have health care insurance. If you don't get health care because you don't want it, get it for your family. A medical room or emergency room visit could actually hurt your bank account. Some people are going bankruptcy because of medical bills. So I'm not going to wear your ear out anymore today, but the next time you see me, I'm going to be talking about it. So get enrolled, Marketplace, Medicaid, call and do it privately, get insurance. Don't make me have to tell you that again. All right, listen, I want to thank you very much again, like I said, for joining. We have a great guest this afternoon. Well, actually, we have a husband and wife team, which is really great. They're both singers. You've probably seen them on Solid Gold. They were Solid Gold. It's okay, they're not. But we have Tim Sullivan and Lenora Sullivan. I hope I said her name right, because then she gave me kind of a side look. Or Nori C, as some of you probably, Nori Say, I'm sorry, as some of you, Nori Say, as some of you probably know her by. This young woman has a 5-octave voice range. If you're wondering, if you don't know what a 5-octave voice range is, give it all you got and then maybe add a couple of more octaves to it and you'll get there. You probably have seen her. I'm sure you've seen her. She's been in the music industry for a while. She's sung backup with Midnight Star, if you remember, No Parking on the Dance Floor. She's worked with Razor Sharp, with Boosie Collins, Rubber Band, with Angelo Ray, with the movies. She's worked with After 7. In other words, she is not new to the industry. I've recently had a chance to meet her, love her voice, love her personality. We're going to talk to her in a few minutes so you can get to know her as well. She is now a contemporary gospel R&B singer. Contemporary gospels. I guess she's saying, God has given me this and I've had it and it served me so well. Now I'm going to give it all back to him. And you got to admit, that's a great thing, because you can't outdo God, and he's definitely not going to let you outdo him. And he's not going to let you do more for him than he does for you. That's how awesome and powerful our God is. So we want to start talking to Tim right now. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having us.
No, thank you for coming out. So tell us, I know you're involved in promoting, you're involved in boxing with the Dom School. So I'll tell you what, you tell us about you.
Well, let me just say, first of all, I'm the owner of Sincere Incorporated, and we provide home health care provider management. And also, I'm the owner, founder, president of True Engagement Promotions. And that's where we take local and regional artists and we try to promote them, give them venues, get them out there. Also, I'm with R&R Promotions, as you mentioned, and that's a promotion company that brought Adrian Broner along before he was four-time world champion in 4 different divisions. So I've been doing that for about 7 years. And now Adrian's progressed to the point where he has his own promotional company. So I signed to handle PR media relations with that as well this past year. Also, I'm with Oasis Elite Boxing. Now, this is Adrian's gym, his way of giving back to the community, along with Andrew Williams, his former promoter under R&R. So we give back to the community. It's a place where kids can come off, the street and have a safe environment, learn conflict resolution, and, just their supervised training, professional trainers. Actually, Mike Stafford, Adrian's coach, he's the #1 trainer there, and he's there every day. Adrian did his whole camp there at the gym, which was open to the public before he had his past fight February the 18th at the Xavier University against Granados. So it's a way to give back, have something positive to do for the kids. Like I said, we have conflict resolution, we have health and wellness, we have even first aid CPR. So it's a few different things. But one of the biggest components of that is our youth anti-violence forum. And we've been doing that for the last 7 years. But we talk to the young people, and we talk to them about their concerns, their issues, try to give them, again, alternative measures to conflict resolution. So we do that. We're doing a great job. We've been doing it for years. It's a way to make sure that we try to make an impact, for our youth, so take them off these streets and curb the violence that's happening in Cincinnati. So, and then closing out, I'm also the founder of Swag the Vote. That's Stand with the African American Greater Good. Now, that's our political initiative and social initiative to engage young people in the process. So we make sure that they're properly registered. We educate them to the issues, to the candidates. So when they go to the ballot box, they can make an informed decision, regarding their agenda, what they're looking for in the future, and from representatives and legislators to make sure that they're addressed. And like I said, we also address social issues. We did Trayvon Martin. We did John Crawford III up in Dayton when he was killed. We also did the young man in St. Louis, and his name escapes me right now. But we cover social issues as well. So it's a whole gambit. And again, that's another component, engaging the young people, to try to help them and be there for them and say, hey, we're trying to give back. We're trying to be, as elders, we understand you and we want to help you.
Okay. I want to ask you before we move on, tell me a little bit more about the Sincere Home Health Care.
Well, that's actually when I came back to Cincinnati in 2009. I came back to Cincinnati after being gone since 1980 to really take care of my parents. And so as I was being my parents' caregiver, I said, well, I had a vision to give the same type of care to my loved one if we can establish a business and take that same, concern and provide service in the same loving manner to people that need in-home care. So we did that. We started that. We did that for a couple of years. And then we just transitioned into what we call provider management services. And that's where we take home health care providers, whether they want to develop an agency or if they want to be independent contractors working with the state of Ohio. We actually do everything as far as meeting their compliance issues, policy and procedures, employee manuals. We do the whole spectrum. And as an independent provider, we make sure that they're properly registered. We do the application process. We do an orientation, tell them how to get compensation, services they're providing. Of course, I am a nationally certified first aid CPR instructor. We do pathogens. So everything that they need to do, and they can become an independent business owner. So they can learn to really take it and start working for themselves. Because that's what we need to do as well. We really advocate as far as small business independent owners, to do what they're gifted to do.
So you're basically taking people and training them, like you said, too. So this is basically helping people to become business owners.
To be business owners.
Which is good, because a lot of times in our community, we're not teaching our children to be business owners. We're telling them to go to school, get a good education, so you can get a good job and work for someone. But to actually become a business owner, then you get to determine when you go on vacation and what you drive and what community you live in. So that's pretty good. And when we look at the number of what is it, the baby boomers?
The baby boomers retiring.
That's retiring. And I'm actually on a couple of different boards, and one of them happens to be the Department of Developmental
Disabled Services.
And just recently getting a good understanding. So when I'm sitting in these meetings and listening, it's an advisory board, I'm sorry, they just recently got a grant. And so we're working or kind of overseeing that grant. And when I'm listening to providers, things that you don't think about, because they were never affecting me. So knew about it but didn't think about it. And then lately, the last month and a half, when I'm sitting and I'm listening to what's going on, I'm realizing that, it's important that someone who loves you
Amen.
Right.
is able to take care of you, but that as they're taking care of you, they're also getting older, or they're having issues that come up. So I think it's great that you're taking this and teaching people, and especially young people, because, me, it would be great if I could start something like that, but I don't know if you all are, I know you're working in the Dome School, but I don't know if you're talking to a lot of teenagers, because this would be the time to hit them and pull them in now where they have that energy that, that doesn't come. When you're brave enough to do something because you haven't gotten to that point where your body or your mind says you can't do it because you've heard it so often.
Right.
So thank you for that.
Yes,
and Swag the Vote, I'm sure, is getting ready to
Great things.
get fired up.
Yeah,
Getting
you're
right
right about
busy.
that. Yeah,
So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you, because when I see you talk, the times we talk and you talk about your wife and what she's doing, I'm going to let you introduce her.
Well, I was actually blessed with my wife in 2014, and then we were actually married, and I'm going to get this date right. We were actually married in July 14?
No, why are you?
May 14, I'm sorry. May 14, 2016.
2060.
So we are newlyweds, and I know
16.
she's going to kill me
No.
for saying July.
He gets on me because I forgot.
And
I
I
pass the
studied
amnesia
that.
over so I can stay out of trouble.
And I studied that, but we are newlyweds, and
Yeah.
we're coming up on our first anniversary. So I was blessed with my wife, and she has such amazing talents and amazing gifts. And of course, she does things across the board also to edify the community. But what we're going to concentrate now is on, her current project and what's happening now. So basically, I just want to introduce to your listening audience, your viewing audience, Lenore Cross, Nori Say, stage name, Lenore Cross Sullivan, my wife.
All right. Hey,
Yeah.
thank you very much for coming out. I just want to jump in. First, I want to talk about your history in music, because when I read your bio, it's like reading a book with all the stuff that you've done, which is really a blessing to survive this long in an industry that is known to chew you up and spit you out.
That's right.
So tell us a little bit about your history.
Oh, wow. I think out of all of the artists that I kind of was raised under, to me, I was truly blessed because they picked me up like a sister. No red tape, truly, encouraged by my voice, thought that they can get more out of me, and built me. I'm proud to say that from the history of where I come from a church background, singing as young as 8, and having this powerful voice that shook the church. I didn't know what I was doing, but I would just love God, and I knew that He was using me in some mighty way. As I progressed in time, it's amazing. I was singing at Woodward and, of course, the Bomb shows, and I was pulled out of there and said, hey, no, I need for you to hear this one. And I'm like, who are these folks? Just sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. That's the way they actually did me. And I'm like, okay, I sung it, and Elliott Sloan, who is Blessed Union today, was the movies with Angela Ray. When I first kind of geared into the music industry, said, no, I'm telling you, it's better than that. And he's just a maniac. I used to call him the next Elton John. And so he played, and of course, without knowing, it was Midnight Star. I was pulled out, taken to the studio immediately, and we recorded No Parking on the Dance Floor. And it was quite amazing for me as a young adult, merely 17, breaking 18, or however you would want to say it, but the first time ever in a recording studio, not afraid. I think a lot of times, we get shocked. Then as time progressed, as the history being built, snatched out, pulled in the basements down at Zap over in Zenzo, working with Penny Ford, amazing vocalist with Rufus Chaka Khan group, and some of the other major artists. That was very impactful in my life. I progressed into more studio work where a lot of our, African American artists have to go through a process, a lot of red tape, and a lot of those individuals went through that process from the drugs, etc. But I was just like the baby sister, you're too young, you get in there, you stay in there. And I literally be in my sleeping bag waiting for the next track where I had to do the, reel to reels and stuff, just a kid. And totally, I'm like, when can I go home? And they said, okay, you're next. And I go in there and do my thing. Okay, now it's time to go because he's acting crazy. It's time for you to get out of here. But I was protected to a powerful point where now it's like, okay, opening up for the whispers, doing some mighty things, as I progressed in my career, and decided after singing with down at Ohio State, I opened for After 7 and The Deal. It was a very, very stunning episode for me in the R&B world because I wasn't used to a standing ovation and people groping me, grabbing my legs, sent me to the dressing room, shivering, shaking, and I don't want to go back out there. And it was like they're screaming your name. And I had not known that I had such an impact on such a large audience. I didn't know that I had such a powerful voice until I got into, again, the studio to begin to cut my own singles as a lead vocalist. And really, really churned me to hear the outcome of Forever in Your Will when I actually took it and let it lead, just sampled it out in Philadelphia, and I had over 1 million
Let's get to that in a
listeners.
minute, let's not go to Forever in Your Will yet.
Okay.
I'm saving that for a little bit later down the line.
So as I progressed in my career, just, in the studio, helping other people, doing my own thing too, I actually recorded 4 other R&B songs, and believe it or not, it was so many people that wanted a piece of it. Of course, little old me had nothing left with nothing. So it's like, okay, this is a do-over, guy. Why am I doing this? So that's pretty much it, and I'm still in it to win it. Helping my husband and a lot of his events with Elijah Williams, who was a phenomenal jazz artist. I felt very good with one of those songs that I actually did with him and performed on stage. That ended up being just, oh my gosh, heart clenching for the audience. They actually came over and said, I felt that. So, oh girl, she got a powerful voice. And I'm still singing that way. I just, whatever moves me, God enlightens me, He works me. Oftentimes, I'm told by the producers that there is a 6th octave. I don't know that I'm singing, but if in my soon-to-be-released song, you're going to hear that 6th octave.
Okay. But you're also a songwriter.
I am
correct?
A songwriter also. I love writing songs. For a lot of my career, like when I was working with Angela Ray, Razor Sharp, and working in the basement with Zap, Penny Ford, we had a great time. And believe it or not, even with Carlos Reeves, The Deal, loved Darnell. That's Bristol. That's like my brother. And we would just go at it, and I would write, and they said, I don't know how she does it. Listen to it. She's writing, it's phenomenal. So I've continued to write and begin to write my own. And so now that I'm writing my own, I feel that now I can be stronger in the music industry. I can write and inspire others and actually take them through a journey of the music world in which I grew up in.
Well, let me ask you this, just for people who may know, or what songs, since I know you've written some songs that have been on some artists' projects. Yeah. So that they know that now they have a face if they've never seen you, what would be some of the songs that you've written that they may be able to connect to and go, okay.
Oh my gosh. A lot of the songs, I have this one song called Don't Be So Naive. I hope to get back into that one. That one was utilized. It's actually one that Carlos Reed and I wrote it, and Carlos actually was beginning to fill in there. We had not gotten to the point where we were ready to do anything with it. That was one of them. I did another one called, Gemini's. I can't think of the name of it right now because I have my new song in my head. But I've a new one that I just written, and it's called Time After Time. And then I've written another one recently, and that one, I can't even think the title of it. I just write, and then I'll create the hook Do you know what I mean? So, and now we'll name it. Now you know. I wrote another one, Straight to the Heart. I wrote that one. So, on and on. I've got a lot. And as far as like from the old school, you have some of the, do you want to ride in my Mercedes, boy? That one, was another one that kind of came from the heart of us. And then man, there's so many. There's so many. And some of them in which they actually got a hold of and kept and never told me that they used it. And I was like, hey, that's mine, but it's nothing I can do about it. It's kind of live and learn arena. Yeah.
Oh, so that was back in that younger era, once we get into that industry. So you didn't have it protected at that point in time.
No, we did the poor man's copyright.
Yeah.
We didn't know about ASCAP. We didn't know about the BMIs. I was just blessed in the BMI. And now that I think about it, I was already protected and didn't even know it. Because I remember I was younger when I signed with the membership for BMI with Midnight Star. I had no clue that I could have gone back and recouped my money on a lot of the.
But that seems to be, and especially, it's a different era now. So with the internet, with all the things at our fingertips, even a young artist, if they take the time, can actually be pretty proficient in understanding this craft that they're in.
Yeah.
But when you go back, and when you're going back in the time, a lot of artists, a lot of writers, a lot of singers, they lost. I mean, I don't even know how to estimate the amount that has been lost in royalties and publishing. But that's the good thing about now. You can go and you can look, and everything is at your fingertip.
Yeah.
And there's no reason now to be lost that way. Although
you're right.
I've found in my experience that there are still people who are not protecting their craft. They're not protecting what God has given them. Because, it's interesting. God may give you, my old pastor, the one that ordained me, Bishop Stephen White, used to always say, all you need is one good idea to last you the rest of your life.
That's right.
But the thing is, if you don't protect that one good idea, it's just going to last somebody else the rest of their life. And you could say, I had it first.
Yeah.
For whatever that's going to do. It won't do any good when Duke calls.
Right?
I had that song first. Then you
it's
turn to
amazing.
Little Richard.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I did it first.
It's amazing because I remember when I was working with Frankie, and this is when I was connecting with Darnell Bristol or D. Bristol with the deal and kind of working out a lot of stuff. And he's like, hey, Nori, sing this, Nori, this, just, sing this. And that's the way D talks. And I was like, okay. So I actually was singing Hypnotize. Now I was like, hypnotize, you got me. We were doing that song and we're tracking that song. Next thing you knew it, I did the new signature. I put my signature on it. I did all kind of stuff. Do you know I heard it on the radio a month later with another person singing it?
Hey, it doesn't take long.
I said, thanks, Frankie.
It does not take
It's amazing.
long. So let's move up into now.
Yeah.
You're working with a label at this point in time.
I am.
And what label is that?
That's Morning Dove Records.
Okay.
Yes.
And so tell us a little about this.
That awesome opportunity came across to me as I was working in a lot of, I'm with my other company that I have called Behind the Scenes, and I do a lot of the paperwork or the administrative work on getting people licensed. I mean, licensed that individuals who have a difficulty time. So on the boxing end, there's a lot of permits and a lot of licensings have to take place, a process that has to go through, an insurance policy that has to be put in, connected. And I began to build that and create that for another company. And that was for Dennis Cook. And when Cook came to me, I said, okay, not a problem. And Bishop Scott, of course, no worries. I'll go ahead and handle that for you. And so I did my due diligence. And then all of a sudden I get this phone call and says, you was at church throwing down, and we'd like to talk to you about something. And then I heard another song of yours and I was like, is that Nori? And I was like, yeah, that. And so they brought it to me and offered me a contract to sing in actually two worlds, to be quite honest. Asked me to sing in, of course, in the love They call it the Love Package, which is still, your contemporary R&B. But then in addition, for what I love the most, which is what I went in there for, which was contemporary gospel R&B.
So let me ask you, when you're saying contemporary gospel R&B, so is this gospel with an R&B feel? So
Yes.
is it kind of marrying those two?
It will cross. For instance, when I wrote my new release, when I submitted it to ASCAP and copywrote it and did all the good stuff, the first person that wanted to purchase it was Natalie Cole, Mary J. Blige, and Dolly Parton. So it will cross over to any audience. My voice will cross over to any audience. So they considered that me being a lead, they began to build as one of the first artists to begin that category of contemporary gospel R&B.
Okay.
Yes.
So since we're kind of running out of time,
Okay.
I want to get to Forever in His Will. Now let's
Okay.
talk. Tell me about Forever. I mean, I like the title, and
Yeah.
and that's what I want to be, forever in His
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
But tell us about that song.
That song had really pierced my spirit. So it was actually a struggle that I was going through in life, discovering who I am as far as with the minister within me, the organization that God anointed and birthed and gave to me, and then also just the anointing from my voice that I never knew that I could identify. Do you know what I mean? That sixth note that they talk about. So I went in and began to build it with Daryl Gibson, and also this young lady who was phenomenal, Candace Green. Her father has a church, and I tell you what, I began to build it with the beginning of the lyrics, and said, hey, they said, sing these, stack this up, and it's like, I'm one person, I got all these different, how many tracks are you, 6? So it's kind of like, okay, this young lady came in, and we just built this body of a song that just
Well, what's the gist of the song? I know the
gist
title.
of
We
the
got the
song-
title, but
the gist of the song itself, it's about striving and succeeding. How much, you don't care how much you have to dig. You don't care what you got to go through. Well, I'm not going to move until you say so. And when you tell me to move, it's not going to be to the left or the right. I'm going to do exactly what you said to do, move forward. And that's what it's all about. And Forever in Your Will is, you're just tired. You're just tired, and you finally said, I'm giving it all to you. I'm going to owe you to the day you take my soul. And that's it.
so to a degree, even though you've gone through this long history of music and gone
That's
down
where
a
that
lot of
song
roads,
came
now you have come to that point to where you're saying, okay, God, you know what?
I'm forever
Here, it's
in your
yours.
will.
Amen.
You take your gift anyway, so it's
Yeah.
not like I'm giving it to you,
Yeah.
but you take it and you do with me what you'll have me do. And so we're looking to see this project, this song release when?
Very soon. Sooner than what we anticipated. We had a couple of target dates guided towards the end or beginning of April, mid-April, with a release party, of course. There is a lot of buzz on that, so we're excited about that. So we hope to have this song out the door by the end of this month. Yes.
Okay, so you're looking at a release by the end of April.
Yes.
All right, so listen, you heard her. I didn't say it.
Yeah.
She said by the end of April.
Yeah.
We're going
They changed the
to
date on it.
hold her to that and have that song
Yeah.
come out. Forever in His Will.
And it's amazing because me and the producer went back and forth, and he said, that song's called Now You Know. He said, because you told him this is why I'm doing this for the love of Jesus. Don't ask me anymore. Don't ask me how often I'm going to do it, but I'm going to keep doing it because I'm doing it for the love of Jesus. So you're going to hear Daryl Gibson, who is the producer over that song, call it Now You Know. So, but it's forever.
It's got
in
two
your will.
titles. Now you know. So when you hear it, you won't be shocked.
He
You'll
said,
go,
"That's
wait,
Now
it's
You
got
Know."
two different titles. Listen, I know that you're going to sing.
I've been walking through this lonely life, dealing with so much strife, trying to make it on my own. Now I've come to your holy throne. I'll listen for your voice. I'll stand right here, Lord, right here in the middle of your will.